Welcome to today's episode, where we'll be diving into a hot topic for aspiring entrepreneurs: how to choose the right franchise opportunity.
That's right. With so many franchise options out there, making the right choice can feel like trying to pick the best dish at a buffet. Where do you even start?
Maybe with the basics. What do you think is the first thing someone should look at before jumping into a franchise deal?
For me, it's definitely understanding your own interests and strengths. If you hate coffee, maybe owning a coffee shop isn't for you, no matter how profitable it seems.
Exactly. Passion counts, but so does knowing your skill set. A tech-savvy person might thrive in a digital service franchise, while a foodie could shine in a restaurant chain.
That's a good point. But what about the brand itself? How important is the franchise's reputation?
Oh, I'd say it's crucial. A strong brand name can attract customers right away. Have you noticed how people flock to big names, even in new locations?
Absolutely. But a famous brand also means higher fees sometimes, right? There's always that trade-off. Those initial franchise fees and ongoing royalties can really add up.
True, it's like paying rent for the brand's reputation. But then you have to ask, does the support from the franchisor justify the cost?
Speaking of support, I think that's another make-or-break factor. Some franchises have amazing training programs, while others just toss you the keys and wish you luck.
Yeah, the level of support can be the difference between success and failure, especially if you're new to the industry. Have you heard any stories about this?
I knew someone who started a fitness franchise. The company gave him a step-by-step launch plan, marketing materials, the whole package. He felt set up for success.
That's the dream. On the flip side, I heard about a friend who opened a franchise with almost no guidance. It was basically figure it out as you go. Not ideal.
Not at all. Besides support, what about territory? Some franchises guarantee exclusive territory, while others allow multiple units in the same area.
That can get tricky. If you're sharing a market with other franchisees from the same brand, you might end up fighting for the same customers.
Exactly. It's like opening two pizza shops on the same block. Unless your pizzas come with a magic trick, you're both in trouble.
Ha! Unless you're pulling rabbits out of hats with every slice. But seriously, territory rights can protect your investment and help you grow your customer base.
What about the initial investment and financial requirements? Some franchises seem affordable, but hidden costs can sneak up on you.
Very true. There are always more expenses than you expect. Equipment, supplies, marketing, and sometimes even mandatory renovations.
And don't forget working capital. You need enough cash to survive the slow months. It's not all sunshine and rainbows from day one.
Definitely. I've heard some franchises require proof of substantial liquid assets. It's their way of making sure you won't run out of steam halfway through.
Makes sense. They want partners who can weather the storms. But let's talk about the Franchise Disclosure Document, or FDD. Some people overlook it, but it's like the user manual for your business.
Yes, the FDD outlines fees, obligations, litigation history, and even financial performance representations. Skipping it is like ignoring the instructions for building IKEA furniture.
And we all know how that ends. Extra screws and a wobbly bookshelf. Reading the FDD thoroughly can save a lot of headaches later.
Absolutely. And if you're not sure about something, consulting a franchise attorney is a smart move. The legal language can be tricky.
That's true. I've heard horror stories of people who didn't understand the fine print and ended up locked into unfavorable terms.
So, due diligence really matters. Besides the FDD, talking to existing franchisees can give you the real scoop. They'll tell you what it's actually like day to day.
That's a great tip. Franchisees are usually honest about the challenges and rewards. Sometimes their perspective is more valuable than any brochure.
Definitely. They can share insights about profitability, support, and even whether the franchisor keeps their promises.
Let's not forget location. The best franchise in the world can flop if it's in the wrong spot.
Location, location, location. It's cliché, but it's true. High foot traffic or easy accessibility can make a huge difference.
But sometimes a less obvious location works if the target customers are there, like a daycare center near a business park instead of a mall.
That's clever. Understanding your target market is key. Who are they? Where do they go? And what do they need?
It's almost like being a detective. You gather clues about the area, the people, and then decide if your franchise will fit in.
And sometimes the perfect spot comes down to gut feeling, too. Have you ever just known a place was right for something?
Once or twice, but I wouldn't bet my life savings on just a hunch. A little market research never hurts.
Smart move. So, beyond all this, how do you weigh the risk? Is there a way to predict which franchises are built to last?
That's tough. I look at how long the franchise has been operating, their growth rate, and whether they adapt to trends. A brand stuck in the past might not last.
Agreed. Flexibility is important. The pandemic proved that businesses that pivoted quickly, like adding delivery or online options, stayed afloat.
That's a good example. And let's not forget the importance of company culture. If your values don't line up with the franchisor, it could be a bumpy ride.
That's true. You're not just buying a business, you're joining a family, quirks and all. It helps to like the people you're working with.
So summing up, choosing the right franchise is about more than just numbers. It's about passion, research, and finding the right fit for your life.
Absolutely. And sometimes, it's okay to walk away if something doesn't feel right. Better to wait for the right opportunity than rush into the wrong one.
That's smart advice. Sometimes patience pays off. The right franchise can change your life, but the wrong one can be a nightmare.
Looking back, do you think there's a perfect franchise, or is it always a bit of a gamble?
I think there's no such thing as perfect, just the best fit for you at a certain time. Like finding the right pair of shoes, you might have to try a few on.
I like that analogy. And sometimes those shoes look great in the store, but give you blisters after a week.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to do your homework and ask the tough questions before signing on the dotted line.
Speaking of questions, what's one thing you wish more people would ask franchisors before investing?
I wish more people would ask about franchisee turnover. High turnover might be a red flag that something's not working.
That's a great point. I'd add asking about marketing support, too. Some brands promise the moon, but deliver a flashlight.
And don't forget about ongoing innovation. Is the franchisor investing in new products or just coasting on old success?
Exactly. A franchise that never evolves is like a blockbuster movie that never gets a sequel. Eventually, people move on.
So as we wrap up, what's your biggest takeaway for anyone considering a franchise?
Do your research, know yourself, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Lots of them.
And remember, it's not just about making money. It's about building something you believe in, with people you trust.
Well said. Thanks for joining us today. If you're thinking about a franchise, we hope this gave you some food for thought.
And maybe a little inspiration to dig deeper before you make your choice. Until next time, happy franchising!
See you next episode, and good luck on your franchise journey.